Fortune 500 consultant, trainer, military veteran, husband and father. Your host, Dr. Aaron Bryant.
That's actually very important, and I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to mention that. You know, as a nonprofit, a 501c3, you live and die by donations and sponsorships. So I want everybody to understand, you know, we have veterans who get intimidated or choose not to deal with the government. What we're looking at here is an opportunity to get that same level, if not more, information that is being crafted and available to our families, to our veterans, our dependents. What Neil is giving you is an opportunity to simplify, to be able to navigate and get access to this information, to first find your VSO. And if you don't want to have, if you're not near a VSO because you're living in some rural area because you want to be away from people, you can still try to figure out what resources is out there. And so that's important. And to keep this going, we need to subscribe. We need to get involved, and let's support organizations and programs like yourself. It is important, which is one of the reasons why we're doing this podcast. We got to make sure we get this information out there so there are vets who may not hear about it can now learn about it, because I didn't know. And now I wish I had known this. You've been around all this time, and when I was homeless and when I was struggling and going through my divorce and trying to struggle raising my kids and not understanding why my personality was not the nerdy little straight A student before I went in the military, and everything's upside down now, what happened? I didn't have anything to help me navigate. And so it's only by the blessings of God I'm actually here now, still limping through. But again, there are vets and families and dependents and friends, relatives who still are scratching their head wondering, what are they going to do? So it is important that we know that we need to help and donate and get involved. So I want to thank you, Neil, because this is very important. So
let me update two things that two responses to what you just said. When we talk about potentially rural areas, like the middle of Wyoming, all of those VSOs that we show in your specific zip code, they're really happy to have you call them and do it over the phone, especially in the COVID era. Even our Santa Clara VSO with more than a dozen counselors, still right now, you're not coming in person. But also on the website and on all of the, I think I never even showed this. We started with this kind of outreach card, which had 60 different issues in it. And our phone number, of course, is on there. And we get phone calls also constantly. And one of our champions, these are people who are trained not to tell you what to do, but rather to help you through the process of you figuring out what's best for you, what you want to do first, where to find it, and all the rest of it. And we will, a good percentage of those calls are from people who are not near a computer or are computer illiterate. And we use the website also, as though do people in the VA use our website. So yes, a lot of this can be done on the phone. So let me answer the rest of that question that you were asking. Aside from our researchers and writers, we were blessed with a couple of people who looked at our website and said, hey, that's really good for the 80s. So our current website is an amazing upgrade. I don't take it personally, what the heck. We also have two people who are working on grants for us. Not that we've gotten any yet, but they're working on it. And I mentioned the media person, but we really need to get onto the primary program that we're working on right now. So whenever you're ready, we'll do that.
All right. So I want everybody to know that the NOAA Vet with a K, as a question, is an IRS approved charity. So you can go on the website. Again, that's KNOWAVET, Victor Echo Tango.org. On their donation page, you can see the approved charity code. As a 501c3, again, very important program. I'm constantly talking about it. Neil, I want to thank you personally for joining. Do you have any last words you want to leave the audience with?
Yeah, I'd like to talk about the senior program for a minute.
Oh, feel free.
Okay. As part of the research that we did, they found out that there's 4,700,000 seniors, not veterans, seniors, who are living in the United States below the poverty line. If you can imagine the desperation, you passed your earning years, there's no hope that you're going to be able to make more money. You're stuck in this poverty situation. What we've determined is, because of the Korean War, because of the World War II and Vietnam, about 2 million of these people are either senior veterans and or surviving spouses. So let me tell you a personal story of how this works. My father-in-law was a non-combat, he was a clerk in the Aleutian Islands in World War II. The only battle he ever was engaged in was how to break apart the chocolate bars that were frozen. So there was no trauma, there was nothing, not even emotional trauma. So when he got back, they never put in a claim for anything. They didn't have anything to claim at the VA. Well, he died 40 years ago now, and his pension was used up, and his wife, therefore, only had Social Security to live on. Of course, our family was helping. So when we brought her out here 6 years ago, on a whim, we took her over to the VSO and asked if she would qualify for anything because her husband had been in World War II. It turns out that if you are below the poverty line, just Social Security, and your family served in any of those wars, that you qualify for a VA pension. Who knew? Yeah, so she wound up, literally, she was 92, needed help with the bathing, with the cleaning the clothes and cooking, whatever. She wound up with $1,800 a month in addition to her Social Security.
Wow.
So we went ahead and researched further because we figured out about these 2 million veterans and surviving spouses that were below the poverty line. So we went ahead and researched further and found out that the average award is about $900 a month for life. And that's $10,800 a year. Could you imagine what that means to a person, a veteran living below the poverty line, like maybe eating better food, maybe not having to split the pills that they've got, but actually take all of the medications that they're prescribed for all their illnesses, maybe even being able to afford heat in the winter.
Right.
This is huge. So what we've developed is a program that even works in COVID. It's a hybrid so that we can economically go anywhere in the country with this. It's a Zoom meeting. So people living in assisted living centers, independent living centers, senior center participants and all this, church groups, whatever. If they've got a television and they've got a person who is willing to set it up so that these people can socially distance, watch what's going on. We have a program that will explain to them not just the pension program, but 9 other things, like I mentioned with the hearing aids and eyeglasses and telephones that will translate and read a message to you, so you don't have to be able to hear it. There's tons of these things out there that are totally free if you qualify, which most of these people do. So we're presenting this program of these 10 opportunities to have a much better life. And the trick here is that you know that a 75 to 80-year-old person is not going to be sitting down and trying to fill out the paperwork for these claims to the VA.
Right.
So what we're doing is teaming up with VSOs and VFWs and such all around the country, so that every time we do one of these programs, we have a local, live, certified representative either physically there and or available on the phone for appointments, so that they will do all the paperwork for free and follow up until the person gets their award. So this is a major life-changing program. We're hoping to get some funding for it so that we can build it out. But, these are the kinds of things that people can do if they just know.
Are you planning on putting this information on the website? So maybe a dependent of a elderly person could, they could probably get things going for them on their behalf?
Absolutely. About half of all the calls that we get are from spouses, from children of veterans and so on. I'm remembering one right now that the son called in. He was, I forgot what state, but his father was in Minneapolis, and the guy was, this was in the middle of the winter, and this guy was outside in his underwear. And he couldn't, the son couldn't just reroute his life and go live in Minneapolis. So basically, for us, it's simple. All we do is go on the site, put in the zip code, and get this person, not the person with the Alzheimer's, but the son, to start the process with the VSO, so that this person can get the in-home help and or the services on I forgot the living services, whatever it is. And yeah, about half of all these people are relatives. So yes, when I finish with the development of that program, it will also be going on our website and our YouTube page. And we're producing a page shortly, along with a full issue of our newsletter about this program, because things like this are really, really urgent. And with seniors, the case is so compelling that once they know, they'll actually look forward to taking the action, as opposed to people your age who we have to convince that you could have a better life if you face your fears, and these things are urgent.
Yeah, we had different dynamics. I agree. So that was a wealth of information. I look forward to seeing it on the website. We're going to make sure we post that information on the YouTube channel, but clearly those who are listening on the podcast, I'm sure they're going to keep it on their phones. Neil, I have to tell you, this is probably one of the most comprehensive interviews I've done. I want to thank you for taking the time, sharing this wealth of information. I have no doubt that we're going to literally reach out and provide a lot more information, more than we probably anticipated, because again, we don't always know what's out there. So this is absolutely an amazing thing. So I can't wait to share this. So I wish I could keep going, but unfortunately we got to keep our show to a time limit. But again, they can go to your website. I want to repeat it again. And I like the phrase, know a vet? It's with a question mark, because literally we're talking to everybody out there in the world. Do you know a vet? And it doesn't have to be a relative. It could be a friend, a neighbor, a coworker. And if you know a vet, please let them know about this website. Do not be afraid to donate. $5, $10, $100. Do a monthly donation. You won't even see it come out of your paycheck. Just put, whatever it is you can afford. Let's continue to support programs like this. Neil, thank you again for taking the time. Unfortunately, that is the show. I am your host, Dr. Bryant. You're listening to drbryantspeaks.com. Again, you can hit me up on all the social media. Go to our YouTube channel, see the links. To all my veterans and families out there, this information is for you, your neighbors, your friends. Everybody be blessed and know that I'm speaking to you. But more importantly, someone is always listening, and that someone is not just me. That's our show.